We welcome you back in. Hour number 2 of the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. We've got you for another hour here on this Monday edition of the show. Going to take a quick time out from football to talk about basketball. And it's the same conversation that we just continue to have about this basketball team. And I can attempt to put a positive spin on it, and I can attempt to tell you that all that matters is what this team looks like when it gets to the postseason and it gets to the first round. But Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal return to the lineup for the Phoenix Suns. Since Durant has come back, the Suns are 2-1. But in the game the other day against the Nets, they lose Bradley Beal for an injury, and here we are again. Here we go again. We are having the same conversation about the Phoenix Suns that we had last year. This team, this group, can't stay healthy. It is a rarity to see all three members of the Suns' big three on the floor together at the same time. I mean, we were so excited because things were going sideways with Durant and Beal out. It just, you lose two stars on your team. You just can't recover from that. There's just, Devin Booker's great. He's awesome. He's a superstar. He can't do that. Not with the way the team is built, not with the way the team is designed. And so getting those guys back was such a sigh of relief. It felt so important to get those guys back. And then it looked so good in that game against the Lakers. They picked up right where they left off. It was as if those games in the middle didn't happen. It was right back to how the team started the year. It was right back to the excitement of how good this team could be. It was right back to the excitement of, could they make up ground in the Western Conference and get right back to the top where they were before Durant and Beal got hurt? All of it came right back to the table. All of it was right there in front of us. And we didn't even make it through 2 games. Because in that second game, now, mind you, they beat the Golden State Warriors the other night. And that was a nice win. They get to 2-1 since Durant returned to the lineup. But in that game against the Brooklyn Nets, they lose Bradley Beal to an injury. And so here we go again. It's not, it's normal to go to the Phoenix Suns depth chart and to see Bradley Beal with the day-to-day next to his name. And now Yusuf Nurkic has the day-to-day next to his name. And so, yeah, you're 2-1 since Durant has come back. But here we are once again discussing a Bradley Beal injury. We are once again discussing how he's got a lower leg injury. He was asked about if it was his left ankle or if it was calf. He said both. It was the calf that forced him to miss the 5 straight games. And in this ESPN story about the injury, it brings up the most important point about Bradley Beal. Because when he's on the court, he's awesome. In that game before he got hurt, 17 points on 8 of 14 shooting. But over the past 3.5 seasons, Bradley Beal has never played in more than 53 of the 82 regular season games. That's the reality of the Phoenix Suns, is they have a player who, best case scenario, isn't going to be available for 29 games of the regular season. Best case scenario, you're going to have him for 53 of 82. You've already missed Durant for a couple of weeks. Can you afford, if Durant goes down again and Beal's also out and we do this all over again? It's easy to say early in the season, oh, plenty of time. Rather have this happen now than later. It's fair. But if it happens both now and later, there's not enough time. If this happens in the second half of the season, if this happens with 12 games to go, and they go on another stretch where they lose 6 or 7 in a row, I don't know if they can recover from that. I don't know if that's a hole that they can dig out of. And so we can talk about what it looks like when they're on the court together. We can talk about what it looks like when everything is full steam ahead. How often do we get to have those conversations? Because this show, for a week and a half, 2 weeks, had to do the same thing every time we talk about the Phoenix Suns. That doesn't really matter. Durant's not out there. Beal's not out there. It's not a true evaluation. It's not, I don't want to say it's not real, but it's not real. if this is what they're going to look like, then it doesn't really matter. The season is toast. They're done. Start thinking about what a future without Kevin Durant or without Bradley Beal or without Devin Booker begins to look like, because we need to start having conversations about trading these guys. That's what happens if these guys aren't on the court together. That's what happens. That's where the mind is left to wander. But I can't come on the air and talk about a team if Durant and Beal are off the court and they're not healthy, because what is this team supposed to be then? What are the expectations of a Devin Booker-led Phoenix Suns team that doesn't have Bradley Beal, that doesn't have Kevin Durant? And oh, by the way, Yusuf Nurkic is in and out of the lineup on a pretty regular basis. What's the ceiling for that team? 500? So when that's the conversation that we're going to have potentially a majority of the time, and we're looking at a team right now who is the 8th seed. So yes, they've played 19 games. There's a lot of runway left. There's a lot of runway left. But here is what I can tell you for an almost certainty on December 2nd. We're going to have this conversation again. We might have this conversation again a couple more times this season, where Beal misses a stretch of games, Durant misses a stretch of games, Booker misses a stretch of games. We're not done. This is what you signed up for. And so, unfortunately, my message to you here today is you got to ride the roller coaster, man. This is what the Suns signed up for. This is how the Suns designed their team. So ride the roller coaster. Enjoy the highs, enjoy the lows, enjoy the peaks, enjoy the valley. Everything about this are going to be the ultimate highs, like we saw the other night against the Lakers, like we saw at the start of the season, and it's going to be the ultimate lows, where you feel terrible watching this team lose 6 in a row. When you feel terrible watching Bradley Beal leave the game with an injury and going, oh no, here we go again. This is what the Suns signed up for. This is what they decided to put out on the floor when they made the decision to run it back. So, unfortunately, this is what this team's going to be. They're going to be healthy some of the time. They're not going to be healthy for some stretches. You got to hope that those stretches happen early and they have the time to dig out of this hole, because right now they're playing in the play-in tournament. That is where they would be right now. That is where a team that has these 3 players leading the charge would be right now. It's because they're not in the lineup.